Well, hi, we're back. And what we wanted to talk about today is keeping it simple. We've loved the work we've been doing over the past decades, helping people restore health and lose weight naturally with a whole food plant-based diet because it's so simple in a way. You don't have to have a real complicated system of counting calories or portion control and remembering how much I ate for breakfast or what about once. It's just so simple that if you will stick to the whole food plant-based foods, whole foods, not processed, so that's no bread, pasta, cinnamon buns,
Oil.
oils, um, then the body has what it needs to thrive. And if we are having a condition like, Connie's first husband resolved a heart arrhythmia by changing his diet. Connie resolved a large, we're talking cantaloupe-sized fibroid tumor with the diet. I completely eliminated all my arthritic pain with the diet, and none of us counted calories, portion control. We just made sure we ate a wide variety of plants, and we ate until we were full. We didn't overeat, we didn't undereat, we didn't try to control it. Just got into that natural cycle. And we've seen clients with osteoporosis, high blood pressure, diabetes. They make the same shift and follow this same simple mantra: wide variety of organic, high nutrient dense whole foods. And it works. There's a real simplicity to that, and we love it.
Yeah, it's so rewarding to see the shift. One client with rheumatoid arthritis who'd been on a very scary, in my opinion, drug for some years. And she started getting the side effects of the med and got scared and wanted to all of a sudden change the way she ate. And she's lost 50 pounds. She's kept it off 5 years. All her symptoms are gone. No flare-ups now at all. It's really amazing. The body is so powerful. If we just give it what it needs, it can really restore health.
And something that she doesn't talk about now, but I remember when she was first making this transition, is she couldn't believe how much energy she started to have again.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And she's just used to that level of energy now. So, this is the new standard. But yeah, she started to have more energy, more clarity of mind. Just, yeah, beginning to live life the way it's designed. It's almost like we all have this innate health that's kind of built into the system, but we have to work with what that system's designed to work with. So yeah, it's been really rewarding. We love that. And then, as we've mentioned before, we started to find that people who had these wonderful results, we would see some of them maybe 6 or 12 months later, and the weight was back on. They were having a lot of the same symptoms that they had before. And if we talked to them to find out what had happened, almost always there had been some stress in their lives. And they went back to their old ways of eating. That's what had changed. They simply started living their old lifestyle because they used food to help deal with the feelings that were coming up, the stress, the anxiety of the situations in their lives. So then a few years ago, we came across what we call an understanding that follows this same simple rule. We were listening to a video recently from a colleague who was talking about basically there's only one problem in life. And we're talking about psychological experience now, right? This is the stress, this is the anxiety, this is the anger, this is the depression, this is all the things that make life look like it's out of whack, and we want to change it. He said there's only one problem, and that's that we innocently believe the thoughts we have to be true. And it's like, well, what does that mean? Well, that's what we found in our own lives as we came across this understanding, and also with the clients we've been working, that basically, when I'm upset about something, use my old analogy, we're getting cut off in traffic. If I get cut off and I'm upset, was it being cut off in traffic that upset me? Or was it the thinking that I generated inside my little brain about what just happened? That idiot, he could have killed me. What's he thinking? All of that. See, that's all generated in here. It's not what happened out there. So the problem I was having with being cut off in traffic wasn't that I got cut off in traffic. It was the story I was making up. I was telling myself and believing to be true. This guy's an idiot. He doesn't know how to drive. I'm shaking my fist, maybe more than my fist. It was crazy. It was crazy. But what really got me when we started exploring this understanding is how I could look back at those experiences of having been cut off in traffic. And I noticed there were times when the same thing happened, I'd get cut off and I didn't get angry. What was the difference? It was the same dangerous maneuver, whatever, but I didn't get upset. And what I could see is I didn't buy into these thoughts that would come up. Crazy driver, he doesn't know what he's doing, all of that. So what we're seeing is that there's a lot of truth to the simplicity of our inner experience of life. It's almost like we have this innate well-being, innate health, psychologically within us as well. And the only thing that gets in the way is feeding ourselves toxic thoughts instead of toxic food, thoughts, and believing those to be true. Continuing to buy into. I mean, I would go to work and I'd start telling my coworkers about this idiot that cut me off. I mean, hello, I would not let it go. It seems so true. And so what we see the solution, the one solution to the one problem, is to simply see that what is creating the problem is not the circumstance, it's my thinking. It's believing the thoughts that my mind is generating, believing them to be true when they aren't actually true.
Yeah, that's it in a very clear nutshell. Yeah, we make up stories in our minds, we believe them, and we call that reality, when actually it is the cause of most of the suffering that we might unnecessarily experience.
Yeah, so that isn't to say that we need to control our feelings by controlling our thinking. So the way it works, at least the way we coach people, is that if we start to notice that there's this energy coming up, anxiety, anger, depression, boredom, whatever it is, rather than trying to focus on that feeling and situation and get that to change so that my inner experience will change, what we want to do is we want to put the snow globe down. We've used that analogy before. The snow globe analogy is like, you shake the snow globe up and you can't see what's there, the cute little deer or castle, whatever's in the snow globe. You can't see it because it's all shaken up. But if you want to get to the core of what's in there, the beauty that's in there, you just put the snow globe down. Because by its nature, that snow settles down. And that's true of the nature of the mind as well. That's what we incorporate into this coaching, is that the nature of the mind is to restore, come back to peace, come back to balance, in the same way that our bodies come back to balance when given what it needs. So in the psychological picture, what we need is to let go of the toxic thinking. Recognize that, oh, this is something I'm generating, and if I don't see that it isn't true, at least explore, what if this isn't true? Because when I ask myself, what if this isn't true? If I'm got a dialogue going on in my mind about this guy, the driver up ahead of me that cut me off. What if that isn't true? It causes me to pause. In that pause, it's like putting the snow globe down. And when the snow globe goes down, that anxiety starts to settle. And I start to see things more clearly and come back into the state of balance that I so much more enjoy than that state of upset. And so it's just natural to start following that flow back into that settled, peaceful state of mind.
Yeah, it's when I set the snow globe down, when I relax this busy thinking, then I connect with the deeper wisdom that's always present, always available, and I will see more clearly what my next is, because we have all the wisdom we ever need within if we're just willing to quiet the mind by setting the snow globe down. That wisdom becomes very available.
Yeah, so in the same way, it's been very fulfilling to work with people to restore physical conditions. We've seen the same thing with people with like binge eating or overeating in any way. As they begin to understand the nature of the mind in this way and begin to question, explore that role their thinking plays in creating the stress that they experience in their lives that has them reaching for food to try to deal with the feelings. When they begin to explore this and see through the thinking that isn't true, that snow globe settled down, they find that they aren't looking for food anymore. That anxiety, that stress diminishes, and their behavior changes. They begin to see life differently. So what used to trigger them just doesn't trigger them anymore.
So it's all very simple. If we feed the body what it needs to thrive, it does. And if we can begin to understand when we're all caught up in any story that we create, if we just set the snow globe down, settle, our wisdom will guide us if there's anything needed in the moment. Simple.
Yeah. Yeah. And this feeding analogy reminds me of an old story. It's an old, I think, Cherokee story, where one of the elders is speaking to one of the young children, explaining how there are two wolves within all of us. And one is the wolf that is angry and evil, and the other is the one that's happy and good. And he said, how do you know which one will arise in your life? And the answer was the one you feed. So it's the same thing, psychological, these two wolves. We can believe our thinking that isn't true. And when we do, it takes us down this road of being angry and unpleasant and doing and saying things that maybe we regret. That one wolf. Or if we pause in the midst of any upset and we feed the other wolf, which is respond in the way that we see to respond when the snow globe is settled, then it's a whole different life. We experience happiness and joy and resolve problems in ways that really seem to benefit everyone.
So the recipe, it was really good. It's a mango avocado salad made with cabbage and some quinoa and a bunch of other veggies. And delicious. We had it as a whole meal. It makes a meal for lunch yesterday and the leftovers for breakfast as part of our breakfast today. So enjoy it and really try it. It's so worthwhile and so good for the body.
That's it for today. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.